y'all, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. So today we're just going to get right into it. What we're doing today is a gel extension slash gel X set. I will give a warning, my phone died towards the end of the video. We got through some of the painting, but not all of it, but you will get to see the end result at the end of the video. Another warning is that my hair was up in a bun and got in the way of the camera a lot. So there's some parts that I cut out. There's some parts that go a little not focused because my hair was in the way. So I do know that next time I'm not going to have my hair in a bun when I record. We're learning. So right now what I'm doing is I'm just using my e-file at a speed of 4,000 RPMs to remove the shine off the natural nail with my mandrel bit and a fine grit sanding band. So for this step, what I'm doing is I did raise my RPMs on my e-file to 5,000 RPMs, and I'm using a cuticle ball bit to go around the sidewalls and the cuticle area to buff off any dead skin. So you may have noticed that the mandrel bit and sanding band kind of push back the cuticle a little bit, but not as much as I need. So I am taking a regular cuticle pusher and pushing back the cuticles a little bit more. And then I'm going to take a nylon brush and I'm going to brush off that dust so I can see where I'm nipping. I am using cuticle nippers at this point to just get rid of any of the cuticle that didn't come off with the mandrel bit and sanding band or just wasn't in an area that could be touched with the mandrel bit and sanding band. Just because it's a little bit thick, it's harder to get in smaller areas, smaller crevices. So make sure that you nip the cuticles to help prevent lifting. So I sized her tips off of camera. Now I'm just taking some acetone on this brush to etch the back of the tips to make sure they adhere onto the natural nail as best as they can. And then I'm going to dehydrate the nail with a lint-free wipe and some alcohol. And after that, what we're going to do is we're going to prime to get the best adhesion we can. And then we are going to put some gel on the back of the tip and cure it on each finger. After every finger of one hand is done, I have my client put their whole hand in a bigger UV light and cure them all again for a full minute. Like I said, each individual finger, I do 10 seconds under the small light and then a full minute after they are all done. Now, I like to work smarter, not harder, so I use the magnets on my tip cutters, and now I'm cutting her tip. She wanted 3 magnets, so we're just cutting to her desired length. And then what I do is I use little scissors to cut the edges. If somebody wants stiletto or almond, she wanted almond. So I just cut the corners to make it easier because who wants to sit there and file forever? Not I. So you can always cut the corners to make it easier. Be very careful not to cut your client. I haven't had it happen, but you never know. So just make sure you're careful. And now I'm just going to file them, round them out at the tips, and make sure that it's an almond shape. So, nail techs know exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about the little white pieces under the tip after you file, okay? I call them nuggets, little nuggets. I hate them. They drive me crazy. And so, what you're gonna see is me picking them off, me trying to buff them off the edge, everything. They drive me crazy. So, yeah, that's what that is. Now I'm going to take my mandrel bit and sanding band once again with my e-file. I have it at a speed of 5,000 RPMs, and I just go around the very edge of the nail. That way I can seal the tip to the nail, seal the cuticle, make sure there's no lifting. So why not take one more step to prevent lifting, right? So I'm taking that same brush that I etched the back of the tips with, putting a little bit of acetone on it, not a lot, and just going around the edge of the nail to kind of melt that into the natural nail, like I said, to prevent lifting. So now at this point, I'm just going to buff the entire surface of the nail. Some people don't do this when it comes to Gel-X because it's a full coverage tip, it's already smooth. But for me, I find that buffing it actually helps the gel polish adhere and last longer. It doesn't start to peel or anything like that. So my recommendation would be to buff the entire surface of the nail. After I finish buffing the nail, I'm going to have my client go wash her hands and scrub her nails with a nylon brush to get rid of as much dust that was created during filing and buffing as possible before we get into painting. After she washed her hands, I still wiped them off with an alcohol and lint free wipe. And now I'm just going in with this really cute nude color. She actually brought it. She brought me a bunch of supplies that she said she really just doesn't need. So that was super nice. Shout out to my client. But yeah, so on the pinky and ring finger, we're going to paint a nude because that's what I needed for the background of the design. So of course we cured those nails, and now we are going in with a second coat of that nude color, and once again we'll cure it after that as well. So the reason I only painted 2 nails with nude is because those are the only 2 nails that I needed nude in the background for. And so the rest of the nails are going to be painted different colors. The middle finger and thumb are going to be red for the background, so that's what I'm doing here, is starting on that. One thing I did want to mention is when one hand is curing, make sure you're working on the other hand. That way you can save yourself time. I actually used to just work on one hand, let it cure, let it come out, and continue working on it and not even touch the other hand until the first hand was completely done. I realized how not smart that was and how much longer it took me to do nails. So make sure that when one hand is curing, you are working on the other hand. I realized that I didn't record the second layer of red, but I did do a second layer of red, so make sure you do that. On this pinky here, I am going to be doing a French tip right now, a red French tip, and then I'll be coloring that in. So I cured that and did the Frenchie on the other hand on the pinky, and now I am working on this ring finger. It is going to be kind of like I don't know, it's just a Christmassy themed nail. So I'm going to paint a heart with the outline in red and then color in the background red as well. So once again, I cured that, and while that was curing, I was working on the other hand. So right now, I am going to work on the index finger. This is the one that has no background on it. I'm not gonna lie, I realized after I finished that I probably could have just painted it with a red background and then did the other stuff, but I decided to make it harder on myself, but now I know for the future. So now I'm just gonna paint some like peppermint stripes in red, and there will be some more colors added to it. There's going to be white lines with it and gold lines with it. Now, for some reason, when I do nails, I kind of just like to jump all over the place. It works for me. It doesn't matter. So right now I went back to the pinky, and I'm going to finish the design on this finger, which is going to be a snowflake towards the bottom of the nail. And now we're going to work on the ring finger. Like I said, I don't really know what to call this nail. I guess you could call it like an ugly Christmas sweater nail. I don't really know. But I just add an X on the top part of the heart, an X on the bottom part of the heart, and then I do a straight line under the bottom X and over the top X. And then I do some, oh, sorry, that was my doggy. He had a little sneeze cough thing, but and then I do just little dots on the top and bottom. Like I said, I like to jump around. That other nail, that ugly Christmas sweater nail, whatever you want to call it, is done. So I'm gonna work on the peppermint stripe nails. I'm gonna go in with the white before I go in with gold, and I'm just doing one thin line of white over each red line, and I'm leaving a little bit of space between the top of the white lines and the bottom of the red lines so that I can put a gold line in between there as well. It's gold time! So now I'm going to go in with the gold and just do a thin stripe of gold in between the white and red peppermint lines. Once again, I just want to apologize for my hair being in the way for some of the video and having to cut those parts out or it be unfocused during that little period of time. And I also want to apologize for my phone dying and not getting the footage of the last two nails being fully painted. The middle finger ended up being a sweater nail. I painted the sweater design with the same red polish and then sprinkled clear acrylic over it. And then the thumb ended up having half a snowflake on it with some camera lens flash star thingies, and then I wiped them all down, top coated and cured, and this is the final look. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get this out there, and have a wonderful day and happy holidays.